All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for March Comes In Like a Lion, Season 2, Episode 8.
All right.
We've had an introduction of an annoying side character with his clicking, and all that kind of
that very
habits.
well may not be in the story again, potentially,
possibly. But we had also a really cute conversation and between Ray and Akari.
Yep. We also had an interesting bit of fan service that I did not expect from March, but you know,
Peaches, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Momo.
I was a fan.
But not that Momo.
No, yeah, exactly. Akari.
Momos,
right?
Plural.
Yeah.
Dose.
But Ray is now going to the finals of this tournament. So now the only question is, will Harunobu see him there?
Yes. Yes. On some level, what they're doing with the shogi is a better blend of bringing it into the main storyline than what they did in season 1.
Yes.
But there is a possibility that it's also just my perception of how I interpret the shogi events to be something that is a little bit better. But I would say they're just generally handling it in a more interesting way.
Well, it focuses around Ray, which is great.
Well, it always focuses around Ray.
Right, but but the Ray lost the last tournament, fairly early on, so he wasn't the main participant. But also, it's kind of a meta thing of like, wait a minute, is shogi the most important thing about this series? And then it's like, wait, Ray, is shogi the most important way that you can help in this situation? It ties in. Yeah,
it's good stuff. So y'all, episode 8. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, we're gonna be starting this episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
What
is it with Shaft and making like perfect openings,
Yeah, it's
God.
And the thing is, I didn't think I would be able to truly enjoy this opening, at the idea that there would be this opening,
right?
Because of how much I absolutely loved the previous opening, but it's so good. It's just.
On some level, I needed an opening like this because the depressing aspect of a lot of the previous openings was just a lot for me to handle.
Yeah. Well, and also in the show, like the fact that Ray is now in this better place where they can have an opening like this and have it, be meaningful, is so necessary. Because eventually, I just feel like Ray and want to curl up and go to sleep.
I think we already mentioned this. But they showed Hina looking away from the camera. They had a raindrop fall in a hand, and then he lunged across the river, which is him going to the yes, obviously. But he's going to the Kawamotos, right?
Right.
Because that's what it means when he crosses the bridge.
Yeah.
But it's that he would go over anything to get to the Kawamotos to help protect Hina.
Running on water.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was the thing he struggled with in the past.
Sure, that too.
He would swim up, the current and fight against the waves. Yes!
You're going to be in the finals! oh!
Yes! Oh! I love how over the top he is. Oh. Oh, wow, we get to see this again.
Yeah.
Wow. She wasn't there. She wasn't there.
Yeah.
Ah! Kiriyama! God, I love Hayashida. I love Hayashida.
That's right.
Ah!
I watch Great Teacher Onizuka every weekend. Right.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. He's got a flowchart and everything. It could, though. It could. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Right. Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, God.
The way
Oh
they
my
just showed
God.
that from Ray's perspective.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh. I just want to have Akari have like a vacation and just have some peace, you know? Yeah. Because she has to.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh. I don't know why I didn't clue into that. Oh! Hayashida! Yes!
With the Jotaro!
Yeah!
Oh my God! Wow! Wow!
A monster teacher! Monster parents! And release the monster teacher! Ah! His voice has changed. Wow. Oh, good.
That was a stupid idea.
Good. Yeah. 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 There's easier ways to do it too. Oh, and he bought him food.
His pride as a teacher.
Oh. Oh, Hayashida,
he's wonderful.
I love. Oh my God, he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. Oh. That was a weird. Wait, did you notice that? The art style? That was weird. Wants to be needed. I just realized like I was holding my breath. So
I know, I know, right? I know.
Cool. Standings. Oh, hey. Haven't seen you in a while. Uh-huh. Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't see Nikaido's name on the... Oh.
Oh, gotcha. So one more match. Gotcha.
So Nikaido hasn't lost his semifinals or anything,
right? Yeah,
or
but they're about semifinals.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
It made it seem like though that Nikaido lost.
Well, he was nervous.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Medical trouble.
Oh, yeah. God.
Oh, man.
The Shimada, the chairman. Crap. When it rains, it pours.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, new chapter. Yep.
Oh, boy.
Adventurers.
That's too positive.
Yeah, it is too positive, yeah. Oh, God, they're not talking. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe he didn't know either. Wow. They're feeding him such BS. And they're getting out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't lie to me. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh. Oh. Yes, yes, you have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get it. You were in survival mode. You had your own things you were dealing with. And of course, yeah, he wouldn't want to...
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Because he asked me not to. Oh, the chairman even knows the reason. Take care of things. Wow.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, crap. Ugh. Dinner to soften the blow.
Yeah.
So he's dying. Oh, and his little brother. Yeah, yeah. Is this backstory?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nikaido?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, look at how adorably little plump boy he is. Oh. Oh, okay. Dang. Oh no, is this where it started? Is this where something happened?
Well, or it's...
Oh, he makes a little bit of a wave because he's a rich kid that shows up with it. Yeah. Oh, and did he win?
Probably.
That would make me remember him for sure, yeah. Wow.
Right.
And he's at the final match, huh? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, he lost in the semifinals.
He lost to Ray, probably.
Yeah, he made it all the way to the semifinals.
This was probably that match.
Yeah. Oh, yep. This is where it started. And is that why he lost the semifinal?
Yeah.
Oh, look at him. Oh. Shogi is honest. Wow. Oh. Oh. Why is it always the most positive ones that are, you know, have the most pain? They're dealing with the most struggle, you know? Oh. And he's alone. So he has to do all this with no friends either. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Oh my gosh. He's like, you'll do that with me? Oh. Sudden backstory of a side character equals horrible, tragic death, Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Oh. Oh no.
So he went easy on him. Gotcha.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Was in the mind. Yeah.
Wow. One 9x9 gridded board. Okay, now back to dinner with Oh.
Oh boy.
Yep. So that match was a draw. Wow. Oh. But what about Nikaido? When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Running on water. Oh, that was a cool shot. Oh, that piano.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All
right.
Wow.
Well, we knew this day would come.
Yep. But you know, he's probably going to be okay. Because on some level, this is the thing of them saying basically he would have this his whole life, right? It's not like it's a it's like it's not like it's a terminal thing. It's more like it's that he's he's afflicted. He's not necessarily dying. It's a thing of where like he could have basically the form of an autoimmune disease where like his digestive tract and his intestines are weaker because his body's fighting against itself, right? And then that's not a thing that generally kills you. That's something that just makes you frail and weak.
Well, right. He's weak enough because of his disease, however it works, that all the other stuff is a problem.
Right. I'm just saying that based on the way they seem to be framing it, I know some people that have these types of things, and it's usually under the umbrella of an autoimmune disease, and it fits a lot with the idea of him having a weak digestive tract, needing to chew extremely, well. And I think I mentioned this theory back in season 1 that it seemed like it, but I'm trying to get myself some hope that he'll live through this, All right. So they executed on this plot point that we had been waiting for.
Yep.
And Nikaido lost his semifinal match. That's why it seemed like it was a little bit, off the way they were making it seem like, wait, did he lose? Did he make it? And it's like, no, he lost. He forfeited with when he passed out.
Oh boy.
So it's a do this, end this tournament for Nikaido. Like, think of him doing this. And I love this show. Yeah. What do you have to say?
I mean,
I need to take this for a minute.
This show's wonderful, and the thing that I'm a bit worried about. No, I'm not really worried, but if we hadn't already seen how much Ray's grown, then I would be worried for him, because he's got it never, like you said, it never rains but it pours.
Or I would say, when it rains, it pours.
Sure, yeah. And in this situation, there's the whole thing with Hino where he's wanting to know, and how he can help her and help Akari and all of that. Yeah. And then at the same time, all the stuff from the Kaido happens. And the thing is that Ray has come from the situation where he was afraid to care about anybody, even himself. Yeah. Because of all the stuff that had happened, right? Mm-hmm. Here, you've got pretty much the sum total of all the people he cares about in the world.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it's not good.
Yep.
And the thing is that I'm not as hopeful as you are.
Okay.
And Ray will get through this, but it's going to take its toll.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if it will be a victory like a shogi victory, or if it will be a victory like all those little victories that Harunobu had over his condition leading up till this point.
Right.
Is it something that's going to leave him weak, or is it something that's, will he recover from it? Because he's already lost people is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's already lost people. And what I know Ray is going to beat himself up about is the idea that, was I a good enough friend to Nikaido? All those times
could I have done more?
Could I have done more? Mm-hmm. All those times that he kind of brushed him off and and took him for granted and things like that, right?
Yep.
And pretty soon he's probably going to be gone.
I'm just putting it out there into the universe that I think that if I say it enough that he's going to be okay, then he will be okay, because I really think that this show doesn't need to kill off characters for dramatic tension. Mm-hmm. The writing is so damn good that they can actually just keep it going.
That's definitely true.
Off of the dramatic tension that we had right here. For an example, I don't know why I never even really thought about the Kawamoto's father.
Yeah, me neither. Right?
I don't know why it never came up in my mind because because for all intents and purposes, basically he was dead to me. Like they were
right. They didn't talk about him.
They didn't talk about him, so I was like, oh well, then he's not around.
Well, and so much of the family had died. You know, right.
So now it's like, no, it's actually worse than that. He's actually alive, and he doesn't associate with them.
He doesn't associate them, and
he doesn't even help them.
Right. I don't know if he knows that his ex-wife died, but
he totally knows. That's why he's gone. That's the worst thing about this is that he's probably gone with them because.
I thought that whole thing happened before they died, because the death of their mom and grandma, that was something that was fairly recent, wasn't it?
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna hold my theories on that loosely. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So the main thing though is that he doesn't seem to care too much about them. He has another kid with them, with his new girlfriend, and he's and we've never seen him. So at the very least, like I've never heard Momo mention anything about him, so he probably doesn't even visit.
Right.
I hope on some level that at the very least, I don't even think he's good. No, he probably doesn't support them at all.
No.
God. Anyway,
Hayashida though, I will say
Hayashida.
Like I
best
needed
character
that this episode,
such a good
and I didn't
guy.
even know how much I would need it at the beginning. It was just like, oh yeah, this is great fun. This is good stuff. He's talking to Hayashida about.
Isn't he so good?
And
he's so good.
He watches GTO every weekend. I'm convinced of it. Like,
great teacher Hayashida.
Great teacher Hayashida.
This is the thing, y'all.
And the Jotaro point.
Jotaro point, yes.
Yeah.
His character is one that I think is the
He probably watches JoJo's too.
Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and actually say that Hayashida is the if Rei is the potential mangaka's self-insert. I don't know if this was written by.
I think this was written by a woman.
I don't know who it was written by, but I think on some level there's this aspect of, even if Rei isn't a self-insert for the mangaka, I think that Hayashida is a form of a self-insert for a different timeline of Rei, basically.
Sure.
This is a weird way. I'm using a weird way of looking at it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Basically that Hayashida is the Rei that didn't use shogi to escape, but instead used basically video games and junk food.
Because exactly,
goofing off and stuff.
Because Hayashida made the comment, and that's how Rei can be kind of like a self-insert for the author, the mangaka. But it's just taking a different passion, not writing, right? In this case, shogi.
Right.
But it's still that case where they dedicate themselves to their craft, and they end up going somewhere with it, right? Maybe somewhere that in another situation they wouldn't have dreamed of it. But then with Rei, there's all this other stuff. But the thing is that if he hadn't, then like Hayashida made the comparison of, if I hadn't done stuff like you didn't do this kind of stuff that I did when I was a kid, and here you are, right?
Right. My point with Hayashida is that Hayashida is trying to help the kid in himself that he sees in Rei by being there because no one was there for Hayashida, or Hayashida didn't allow himself to be helped in that regard. So Hayashida seems to have this gung-ho nature towards being there for Rei because on some level he is reminded of how much he wasted in a ways because he didn't have even the slightest bit of strength that Rei has,
and that's
to
probably
soldier on through all this crap.
And that's probably why he chose to be a teacher in the first place.
To help young kids go through that trying times of life where they are struggling with not just their crazy life problems that he has no direct kind of relatable aspect to, but the
right.
The part where they basically feel alone in this world and they don't have anyone to turn to, and then they devolve into stuff that just is destructive and
life is hard, especially at that time where you have to figure out who you are. And even if there's things that he can't concretely help with, he can certainly be supportive.
He can be supportive. He can be there. He can be the very least a positive voice of encouragement in that whole bit and reinforce who they are when they are floundering in figuring out how to just, I would say, reinforce that themselves,
because they need all the help they can get.
And I think that Hayashida's bravado in this regard is a perfect bit of levity to in some way set up the dramatic whiplash from when we go to the Harunobu stuff, so it's not and it's also kind of sandwiched a bit by the shogi stuff directly after that, so it's not as strong of a whiplash, but it's something where it lulled me into that false sense of security about the positivity of this episode. And then they shifted over to the Harunobu stuff, and we got pain. But hey, Hayashida strategizing with Rei. They get their
concrete stuff, and
you know, thinking about this logically, coming up with your idea of talking to another teacher or a head teacher, or whatever, principal or something. But they didn't. He then did bring up the thing of where it probably wouldn't come to bringing in the monster parents, the MPs. But if it does, then there is a problem there because Akari is not mentally or emotionally equipped to handle that whole thing there. So maybe Hayashida then really does need to be unleashed as the monster teacher.
Or Rei, or Grandpa, or...
Hayashida basically made the point of that, like, no, you don't understand how this whole thing works. Rely on me. I'm a teacher. Don't underestimate me. And Rei's whole plan was I'm going to come in there with a budget thing to help you guys figure out finances and how I can give you guys a monthly, deposit to just give this whole thing there. And he's like, I'm so glad that you gave up on that idea. He's like, that's actually what I was going to do.
He's like, what were you going to do? Do da-da-da-da-da, that you might get the door slammed in your face. And he's
like, crap, that's exactly what I was going to do. Okay. I'm really glad that Rei kind of had that whole idea kind of smacked down in the literal sense, but it is okay, Rei. It is okay for you to be successful at shogi, and while you don't have to go and give them a lump sum on a monthly thing or what have you, if you want to be there and be like just an available resource for them to support them in the same way Hayashida is for you, you can still be aggressive in your loving of them and supporting of them, without it being a thing of where you basically lay down
where you stomp out their pride, like what kind of happened with Harunobu and Shimada.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm very glad that they brought that up because the thing is, okay, the angle of Harunobu's sick and he might die, right?
Yeah.
That's something that is emotional. However, that alone is not up to the standards of March.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Yep. The standards of March are set very high.
Very high.
The bar is high. So just doing something like that is not enough. But how they showed how it affected Harunobu, right? The idea that he had to have this feeling that I'm not just a weakling, right? To have that place where he knows that I can do something, right? That I too can have a life worth living, a place to live. Like that was the thing that got me is that if you treat me like a weakling here, then where will I live? Paints a picture.
I gotta say before I break down here, that part is really, really kind of touching specifically for me, because like as opposed to all the other things, like that part, it really hit me because there's this aspect of when you're when you have a passion for a specific thing, right? And there's all these other people that are clearly, at the very least passionate about it, but they don't have the perspective of seeing that you're making this a part of yourself, and it's part of the fragility that comes from when you're figuring out who you are as a person, that you identify a little bit too much with your passions. Sure. And when someone then comes along and coddles you and basically kind of, I would call it they simplify your passion. They basically make it to be a thing. It's like, oh well, you know, I'm going
I'll
to coddle you. I'm going to coddle you in that regard.
Right.
It's the most disrespectful, demeaning, and in some ways also dehumanizing things, because here's the thing with this child's viewpoint here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this is an immature viewpoint.
Sure.
But the point is that he's a child.
Right.
He's immature. That's the point.
Yeah.
If anything needs to be coddled, you need to understand that they grow at a rate that is over a period of time. So let that time happen to be patient with them. So if someone comes in and they have this passion for a specific thing, and you come in and basically say, oh, you know, in order to keep your passion alight, I'm going to treat you as a child, essentially, and I'm going to protect you and shelter that passion.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It shows you have no faith in their own strength to continue on with the passion, especially in Harunobu's case.
Where this is all he has.
Not only is this something all he has, but he's somehow pushing through it despite this sickness and stuff. I don't blame Shimada here. I don't blame Shimada here. But personally, this is a thing that pisses me off more than a lot of things really should, because I've had so many times where I've taken a passion and I've tried to make it my own. Mm-hmm. And then people come along and they go, oh, I know better than you how to handle your passion, basically. And they coddle it and they treat it like it's nothing. And then anytime you end up trying to move in your passion and basically say, hey, maybe I have something to contribute here.
Right.
You're ignored. No one listens. It's the most. I am just so proud. I am so proud of Harunobu to basically have, even on some level, just the emotional maturity at the very least, to basically realize that he can make those demands of Shimada, saying, don't ever do this again. Mm-hmm. Because most kids aren't that strong even.
Right.
Because at least for me, when I was that age and stuff, and I had passions for like specific things, and I don't have those passions anymore. They just died somewhere. I don't know where they are. They're gone somewhere. Is people would come in and they basically have their own kind of viewpoint on things, and they just kill it.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have the strength to be able to say, hey, you're an adult. Don't do that. Don't do that ever again.
You might not even have realized
that they killed it or something.
Exactly. What effect that had.
It just happened. And then you look back on it a few years later and you're like, where'd that go? Yeah. It's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just something that that hurts me in a way, because I understand the pain of this, but I also understand on some level that because this is retroactive storytelling, they're telling things as a backstory. We already know that things work out in a way for Nikaido, and that he still ends up desiring this, this passion for shogi to be his thing. Yes. And in some ways, it's because the passion was actually his number one at the time. Like, it was his only thing.
Yep. But so he protected it fiercely.
Right. But if there's a kid who's only got it as like his number 4 or number 5, and he's trying to move it up to his number 2, 3, or even 1. There's less strength in that. There's less ability to hold on to it, and that's where on some level I have to kind of separate out my visceral reaction to kind of an adult stepping in that regard, because it's basically a, who the hell are you to basically make that kind of a judgment call? In this case, Shimada has a little bit more leeway also, because he's their instructor. He's Shinobu. Did I say Harunobu's teacher in this regard? Mm-hmm. So it again, there's a little bit more leeway there, but
and it wasn't, and it was
So I've said my piece on that.
Yep.
I'm just impressed that they actually had that be even a focal point of the story. I mean, I don't know if this is just how good the mangaka is with regards to writing, or if it's their understanding of passions when it comes to young people, because this is a common occurrence an extremely common occurrence. I see this with adults.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I see this with adults, and
Right.
it's even more disrespectful there because the adults are intelligent,
Right.
so they know that they're being disrespected and treated
also,
like children, essentially.
And also the idea of like, okay, when you're not good at something as an adult, it's completely different than when you're not good at something as a kid, because you're not expected to be good at anything as a kid, right?
Right.
You know, it's like, hey, and you know, you'll get better, right? But with adults, there's this idea that you should already have everything figured out, right?
Or at the very least, you know.
And so then if you're not good at something, the idea of being willing to be bad at that thing long enough to be able to develop it, right? To be able to hone it and turn it into something good, that is a lot harder. Yeah. Like that's rare. Like, yeah.
Right. On some level, this is something that I have a fundamental kind of philosophical difference with regards to a lot of my peers when it comes to something like Ultimate Frisbee. In Ultimate Frisbee, amongst my peers and stuff, there are a lot of people that are at different skill levels with regards to the game and stuff. But we want to encourage them to get better to play. So on some level, we coddle them and we play easier around them in order to give them basically the confidence to keep playing and stuff.
Right. Because
but when it comes to the actual discussion surrounding them improving, I don't like to be dishonest in that regard.
Right.
I don't like to be basically giving them some kind of false sense of like their progression being something more than it is. Like basically saying like, what do I have to improve on? I wouldn't just say, oh, you don't have that much to improve on. I'd be like, you need to improve on everything. Right. Like being direct specifically with them and not trying to coddle their ego or something like that.
Because there are situations where when something is a you know, a number 1 or a number 2 passion or something like that, and it's able to withstand the you know, the resistance, right? You know, showing that just how far they have to go, right?
Yep.
And then there's other times where people are testing something out. They don't know if maybe they could end up being passionate about it, because a lot of times passion comes from whether like enjoyment comes from whether or not you think you could be good at something, right?
A lot of times, yeah.
And if you have someone like if you have a math teacher, right, and you have someone who's like, math is hard, and then you have someone as a math teacher that's really good at math, probably not going to be able to do a great job. Like my worst math teachers ever were the ones that were really good at it, whereas the ones that were great were the ones that weren't actually that great at math. And when it was something of, oh yeah, you know, someone's having trouble with something, it's like they are right there because they've been there before. And it's not something of, oh well, you know, you have to be amazing at this thing, because, you know, in that case, math's not very important. That was kind of a tangent, but
yeah, I just separate it out to be a little bit different when there is some kind of a teacher, student, mentor, you know, apprentice role relationship involved. If it's peers, if it's some kind of actual like friendship thing that has nothing, you know, nothing concrete or hierarchical about it, like, be honest. Like, in some ways, I like that in a lot of ways, because of the older mentor being the one that was the true mentor, and Shimada was a stand-in, and he said, this is your older brother, that's not a hierarchy anymore. That's all he's saying is that you guys are equals. You guys are brothers. Right. The only thing that's different is that he's older. The only thing
he's
that's
a bit
different,
further along.
He's just had more. He's just had more time doing this than you. That's the only difference.
Yep.
Yes, you call him Sixth Dan Shimada-san, you know, or Shimada Sixth Dan whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is that that's you basically just giving him respect because he's earned that. As regards to you guys in terms of your relationship to me, no, you're both equals. You're both my apprentices.
Yep.
And I like so much that they gave Harunobu basically this wonderfully complex character where he's struggling with this thing, but he somehow has this inner strength with regards to Shogi to basically demand, no, don't coddle me like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a person.
Yeah, I'm a person, but like basically saying be merciless with me. And so that Shimada's like, oh my God, like I messed up. I'm so sorry. Like he understands immediately what happened there. But in some ways, Harunobu makes the mistake of basically coddling Rei by saying he's unstable. He's not able to be merciless with me if we tell him about this. I don't want you to tell anything about this with him because while he's a kind person, he might not know that, he's also not stable. So Harunobu's mistake that he makes, his contradiction, is that he didn't become vulnerable with Rei.
Yeah.
Because he thought that on some level Rei wouldn't, and maybe he's right. Who knows? We can never know what would have happened.
Well, in a lot of ways, you could say that that's a defense mechanism
because
he's basically saying Rei is the very person from whom I cannot, not just I cannot because I need to have a rival in order to make myself be better at shogi, but emotionally, psychologically, I cannot have him do that.
Yes.
There was a story that I heard where someone's best friend's dad died. And when they went over to visit them, right? The entire way over, they were basically telling themselves, don't ask, their dad hadn't died, right? But their dad was really sick.
Oh,
their dad was really sick.
Yeah.
And they basically said, whatever you do,
don't talk about that.
Don't talk about that. Don't ask about his dad. Nothing, right? Because it was something where he was probably going to die, right?
Yeah.
And they show up and they see the look on their friend's face and they just, in instinct, whatever, they ask, how's your dad doing? And immediately their face just falls and they're like, he's not dead yet. And it was just this thing of,
how could you?
How could you, right? Exactly. You're my best friend.
You failed me.
Right, exactly. We're supposed to just hang out and you can help me forget about that. You can still treat me like I can have this sense of normalcy, right?
Right.
As opposed to what everyone else probably did, that had some distant connection with this person to make themselves feel better, which is, oh, how's your dad doing? Would you focus more on that and how your dad is probably going to die soon so that I can feel a little bit better and feel like I was caring and,
Yeah. It's kind of like how I've heard in some ways that, if you go into I'm sure we've gotten better at it over the course of time because we actually have a lot more focus on mental health and stuff in general. But a lot of people who have their moment of crazy and then their family basically institutionalizes them, and it makes them even worse because on some level now it's a thing where they've gotten to focus so hard on basically the part that was their crazy,
right? In their lowest moment, then people abandon them and
or basically said, there's nothing we can do. All we can do is basically just give this over to someone else.
Right. And now you're labeled.
Yes, and now all these people, all they're going to focus on is, that aspect of you that we saw for just a split second.
Yep.
And I'm not making a statement specifically about, ways that people treat mental health and stuff like that. It's a complicated subject and things like that. But the example of basically where someone takes some level of vulnerability that a person displayed and then basically coddles them about it and doesn't actually try to be just a decent human being to the person or a normal and continue, it basically redefines the relationship in some way surrounding them there. Since when did someone's little decisions or little flaws or little moments or things like that suddenly become so important that it changes the way you view a person?
Because what it is it's a form of judging.
Oh, and
the thing is that we might not think of it that way because it's not like we suddenly think horribly of this other person, but suddenly our perspective of them, how we treat them and everything changes, right? And even if we don't necessarily notice it, we just think it's a proper response because, well, things are different now, right? The other person notices. And the thing is that what makes you think that that was because of some change? Is that maybe how it always was and you just finally got to see it, right?
Sure.
And now that you see it, 39.5-foot pole.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, this show is so dang good. Yeah, I can't stress this enough, but there are so many little things in the framing and directing of this show, especially with what I've seen in the second season. There's a lot of this that was in the first season as well, but I think it's more just
here
I noticed,
especially. Yeah,
and I think this is again something where I've become acclimated to the way this show delivers information and delivers the messages of the story and themes, that I'm just picking up on it also a little bit more. But this episode just It did so much.
Mm-hmm.
I like the clever reintroducing of Shimada, because he was a main
Yes.
character back in season 1, but we had a break from him as we went back to Kawamoto stuff for a bit here, and now we're shifting away from Kawamoto stuff, even within the same breath of the episode where we talked about strategizing how we can help, they can help Hina with her situation there as well.
Oh boy,
man.
Oh boy.
I also got to say, a last little bit, my heart fell just down into my bowels, basically, like once I saw Akari talking about her dad.
Oh my god.
Because the way they showed it, yes, from Ray's perspective, the way they showed it as being a thing of where she gave her most, I gotta give credit to the voice actress, giving the most deadpan, yeah, this is the way things are. Basically saying, like Ray said in the commentary, like it meant nothing to her. And that is the kind of separation in the heart and the mind where people do this because of the hurt they're feeling and the burden of it. And in some ways, the idea that Ray has now had his perspective changed with regards to Akari and the Kawamotos little by little by things with Hina's bullying, with regards to Akari and how she's burdened by this whole thing. This is something where Ray could make the same mistake and begin to coddle them and treat them like less than he had before.
Right.
And on some level, that's something that he needs to think back to when they first brought him in, the way they basically just gave him a home. They just continued on with their lives.
And
they didn't need to solve his problems.
Nope.
They didn't need to go in press or pry or do anything there. They were just there. The idea is that they let that accessibility just be available to him. He needs to do the same thing here. Not thinking about how you're going to give them tons of money or do all this other crazy stuff. Just be there, buddy. Oh my god, I love this show so much.
The fact that they nail the idea of just how powerful a home can be, is incredible. Because in both the positive and the negative, they have the Kawamotos that are the home, and then you have people like, say, Kyoko, where it felt like her home was taken away from her, right?
Totally.
And then suddenly, when it felt like she didn't have a home, look what happened. Right? Harunobu, he thought that he might be about to lose his home. And I just hope that Ray remembers that no matter what happens, he will not lose his home.
Guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction discussion. I'm going to go take a breather. So, y'all, if you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion to this wonderful show right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there, and any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general, or specifically about Jacob's book that he just published.
Battle Lines, sci-fi novel. And it is a sci-fi novel, but it also covers a lot of the stuff of home and family and things like that. So
good characters.
It's great characters. It's wonderful. I think it'll surprise you. But link to buy that on Amazon is in the description. Check it out. Leave a review.
All right. So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.